Hi, I just wanted to share some experiences about the SLUN 5N or N series from Sugatsune company. So these are specialty hinges that allow a door to lift vertically. And you'll see here in the drawing, there is one error that I noticed where they show the handle right in front of the brackets, but on my installation, I could not get any sort of, like, you could not pull the bottom there, which is where the mounting brackets are, and have that door open. It just would not happen. You have to pull it from either the middle or the top. Now, I don't have any of the drawer pulls in it anymore because they were just temporary to test it. I have to move this vanity. This vanity is from Wayfair, and it was very expensive, and it has essentially balsa wood. Like, everything is very light. So if I pull this out, though, it flies up, and I've tried to adjust the strength, but those adjustment knobs, which they refer to here, if I try to turn this, it does not turn at all. And I just could not get it to turn, so I couldn't adjust the strength. I believe that there's a bar, a second item that you have to buy, and I think it locks into those holes, but I'm not really sure. It says on here that they're only of a certain length, and they only come in these six standard sizes, or four standard sizes, and I need so it's a truss, and I need it. I want a slow close open, not just a slow close. So it does do a slow close, and it's kind of nice. And I'm using it in this fashion because I have a radiator like this one that sits in a position where this vanity is going to go, and it makes these drawers inaccessible. So I wanted to use this space to have the water filtration system in there. But of course, you need to access it, and you only have like that much space to work with. And I mean, it's just, it comes up very, very quickly. If your hand was on the handle, you could slow it down, but it would hit you in the head if you weren't careful and if you've never done it before. And a child, I can only imagine what would happen. So I'm probably going to put a latch on it that makes it so that you can't open the drawer unless you undo the latch. Or somebody who has a child could add that feature. But basically, this is for a very specific solution. And normally these are located above your head. And, they open up that way. So in this case, this is the best I could come up with for this scenario. I really didn't need it to fly open like that. And I would like to do a slow close, but we're talking about 12 inches or about like 400 millimeters, not 535 millimeters or these other standard sizes that they talk about. And I really wish I could get the strength to go down. A couple of other things real quick before I end the video, but basically, once this thing's open, I can show you the door sits flush and it sits inside a lip, which is not how they normally describe. But if you do put in 0 for a lot of the values that they require you to know to do these calculations, like for example, in this drawing, the T value is 0. And that helps to be able to do some of the calculations, but ultimately, I was able to calculate it based on this drawer door thing that I made. It's like 12 inches wide and about 19 and a quarter inches long. And, from a seated position, with one hand, I don't know if I can, well, here we go. So you see how it flies up, and, and then this is how you mount you mount this separately, and it does interfere with this nut. And this little, like, I don't know what you would call it, a piston or a pylon or a nut, that stops it. Other than that, you'll see here, I did damage the thing before I had it fully adjusted. And when I did adjust it, it really has to be done carefully because it will move and it has to be pretty tight, but I managed to destroy the screw. And so if anybody needed to know, it's basically an M3 metric screw with a pan head. I happen to have some McMaster car screws that are way more strong than the ones they give you. Even though the ones they give you are pretty good, the McMaster ones, it's really hard to ruin them. And I don't know if I have that broken one around, but I'm trying to find it. But I initially had one of these, which I thought would be fine, and I could use an Allen wrench, and that made sense. But it stood proud of the metal thing there, and you can see how damaged that screw is from trying to really torque it in there. This one is the McMaster one that I used as a replacement. I happen to have in stock for myself, if I can find it. There it is. And you can see that even though I torqued it the same, it's nowhere near there's like no damage to it. It's a perfect screw. So I, get them from McMaster if you can. They're very strong. Whatever they give you is utter garbage. I mean, it's sheared. So what happened was the force of it flying up like that sheared the threads off of one of the sides, and it was just, you couldn't. That has to be there. It has to be locked in. Also, another thing is it's just an O-ring on there in a slot, and it's kind of optional, but it stops it from making a noise. And this one is damaged, and I will have to replace it, almost immediately, because it's cutting into it. Whereas this one deflects a little bit onto the inside. This one is landing right directly on it, and it basically just cut it. When I first installed it, you'll see, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there are some additional screw holes, because even though I took the measurements, something went wrong, and one did not equal the other, and so the door would sit kind of half open, like I'm trying to simulate, but it would hit here, and then it would stay open on the one side. You can see now it's even not completely perfect because this side sits in further than this side, but I'm fairly happy with it. You can see I could push it a little bit further. This is literally a drawer, and then I cut this out of the vanity, and now it's like the whole thing is a big drawer and a small drawer creating the door. And then the quality of this vanity is unfortunately not very good, and I guess that's what you expect for $2,000 on Wayfair these days, because the wood is literally balsa wood. It's the lightest wood. And these SLUNs are really high. They're not heavy duty, but this is the 5N. I got it on eBay for $75 used, which is way cheaper than if I were to buy this new. And that's my experience. I was able to calculate the B value as 13.2625 inches, so about 13.25 inches, to place the mounting hardware. And once that was in place, I haven't had to adjust that, but I did have to adjust the arm position, because for whatever reason, this arm, even though it was supposed to be one, something messed up, and I got the wrong number there. I had marked them both. It wasn't equal, or something was slightly different. I noticed that this one, like the two arms are very close together, whereas in this one they're a little bit further apart. So just like slight differences like that create that could have something to do with the placement of the of the mounting hardware on the door. But that was easy to measure, so I'm not really sure what happened there, but I was able to get it to generally sit pretty flush. You see, it's still not perfect, but again, they're designing it to land on a door frame, and this is design. I've modified this, I'm using it in a way it's not designed for, so that it can sit inside a frame instead of onto a frame. But ultimately, it's pretty great that this much works. I just wish I could decrease the spring strength, or I don't know how I would get a truss in there, but there's no way for me to have a soft open, which it really needs. I wish that there was more wacky hardware out there like this that was less, even like mechanical only and less spring based. Like, all I really needed was a way to pull a drawer out and then slide it up. That's what I needed. This was the only solution I could find that would allow that and work for a fairly small door. And they have lateral cabinet movement, but that doesn't solve the problem, because in this particular vanity, you can see this is proud of this by a lot, and I don't think the lateral door movement would have worked out. Plus, if you're fiddling with, in this case, a filtration system, and you're also fiddling with the sink at the same time, you may need to access both, and this would block that. Although ultimately, I think this is fine, and it will work out. I don't have to open this twice a year, so having a little latch or something that keeps it closed and stops somebody from smacking themselves in the face is definitely a step I'm going to take. Also, those, it's what it is. Anyway, I didn't see a lot of videos out there, people demonstrating how they're using it. I just saw some marketing material, and I thought I would share. This is like a DIYer's use of it, and overall I'm happy, but I'm glad I didn't pay full price. Good luck.